you're not.
Do you want to get in the picture with me? Good morning and hello. This is Michael Slotin, and this is my beautiful wife, Christina Slotin. We're the owners of the Herbal Cottage. And we're bringing this to you live because we're interested in helping you with rheumatoid arthritis. Christina's had rheumatoid arthritis for the last 26 years, and for the last 14 years, she's been free of medications. Now, I teach postural therapy, and I'm a licensed massage therapist, and I specialize in working with people that have pain, and I've been doing this for 30 years, really more than that. Christina got so bad with her arthritis that she was really unable to walk. She needed a walker, and as a result, she lost her job. She was teaching chemistry at a school in Apalachicola, Florida. And so what could we do? Because we didn't have insurance, we had to change our diet. We had to look to herbs. We started to think about ferments. I was able to help her with exercise, and we've been on this path for a long time. And there are so many things that we wish someone would have helped us with that we would like to tell you about. Now, Christina went on to become a clinical herbalist, and we have a shop where we make our own pain formulas. And because I work with people that are in pain, I've discovered that addressing pain in one direction, really in one face of it, was never really enough to completely resolve pain. I could help people by massaging them. They would get up and they would go, you know, my pain is gone. I could help them with certain exercises. They would say, my pain is gone. But the pain would come back generally because the pain generally starts in your gut. And today, that's really the topic. So in this upcoming video series, I plan to be here 100 days in audience that will talk to me about their problems, and I can help you directly right here, right now. And we'll be discussing things like herbal treatments, fermentations and how to heal the gut, exercises that actually reduce inflammation by correcting postural stress and dysfunction of the joints so that your body actually starts to feel better and work with it. We're going to talk about the circadian rhythms and the key to restoring your body's own immune system, because we're going to put all the healing powers of your own body to work for you. Now, we also have to change your diet, or we have to start to think about the foods that cause inflammation and the foods that resolve inflammation. There are triggers that are in your cells. These are transcription molecules. These are proteins that live inside of each cell. And if you pull one by eating certain foods, they release antioxidants and reduce inflammation. If you pull the other handle, they're going to release a whole cascade of inflammatory agents that are going to create pain and damage. We will talk about exactly the switches that turn off pain in this program. So today, I want to talk to you about what is arthritis and where does it come from. So I want you to know that when we were asking doctors, what is arthritis? Why is the body attacking itself? They would say, we never got a real satisfying answer. So if you were ever wondering what is arthritis, today is your day to at least get the truth. You see, we carry around an ecosystem, probably the most important ecosystem in the world. You've got your rainforest, and I love all forests. I love coral reefs. Those are another ecosystems, and they're all being threatened. But the one that's the most important to your survival is the ecosystem that lives inside of your GI tract. You have 23 feet of intestinal tract, and there are usually 3 to 4 times as many cells that live in your GI tract that make up you. So about 4 trillion cells live in your gut, and they have an entire way of performing and interacting And if they're overwhelmingly healthy cells, they all don't have to be healthy. Not everybody in the neighborhood is likable. But if they're overwhelmingly healthy, then this ecosystem is going to provide you with most of the biochemistry that you need. You see, we entered into a deal with them through the evolutionary process that if we carried them around and we fed them, then they would produce the things we need for our immune system. They would produce what we need for our brain health, and they would produce what we need for other daily functions, like, well, neurotransmitters are one thing. They produce serotonin, and if you don't have enough serotonin, you're not going to have enough melatonin. So if you're suffering from rheumatoid arthritis and you're not sleeping well, then that's a symptom that your microbiome has been disturbed, and the serotonin producing bacteria are not in place to really help you sleep. Now, your arthritis may show up in pain in your feet or pain in your hands or wrist, shoulders, hip, low back, and it may be so aggressive that it's showing up in many places at once. But that's not where your arthritis started. I want you to really be clear about what I'm saying. Arthritis starts in your gut, and it continues because we're not directing our healing efforts to change the environment of our gut so that we can reduce inflammation and start the repairing process. And so I want to just make sure that that was the first thing that I said to you. This is exactly what we're going to try to discover. How do you restore an ecosystem that lives inside of you? Why was that ecosystem disturbed so that you can avoid the problems that cause this degrade of this environment, and start to be like a gardener and bring things back, or a forester that says, okay, we've had this blight, or we're entering into the forest that's been clear cut. How do we reestablish a healthy ecosystem so the water returns and all of nature returns too? And so I want to let you know that the basic steps are you have to reseed, just like planting plants, the bacteria. You can do it through looking on our website. We have 10 of, I think, the most valuable probiotics. Now, probiotics are very expensive, and we don't think that probiotics actually provide you with dosing that's high enough to reestablish a wonderful environment. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to teach you how to turn each of those bacterial strains into yogurt, unless they're anaerobic. If they're anaerobic, then we'll just have to take the supplements and take them at a level that's high enough to reestablish a colonizing form. Okay, so the second thing is that they need plenty to eat. So how do we give them that? Then we diversify the fiber amount. Now, there are peoples that live in the world that eat 100 grams of fiber a day. And that by analyzing the poop of our forefathers that hunted and gathered and farmed, then we know that averaging 100 grams of fiber a day is relatively the standards for people that are living close to the earth. And Americans have now between 12 and 15 grams of fiber if they're thinking about being healthy. So if someone's having Fruit Loops for breakfast, hamburger for lunch, and pizza for dinner, they may only be getting 5 grams of fiber, if that. And so if you do not have enough food for the microbiome, then the microbiome will starve. Now, the key thing to understand about the microbiome is they produce butyrate. They eat fiber and they produce something as a byproduct. That 23 feet of gut that we were just talking about is only 1 cell thick. That's remarkable that we have a barrier protecting us from the outside world. that has to be strong enough to let nutrients in, but keep out all other harmful, toxic materials out of our body and direct it towards the toilet. And it's not an easy job. And that's why the cells of our GI tract only last between 3 and 5 days. With the top of the GI tract is a bubbling lake of acid. And just below the bubbling lake of acid, we have this gallbladder drop that has the same pH as drain cleaners. It's amazing that we can survive this. It's amazing that the cells of our GI tract can withstand it at all. And we're going to talk about how it is that they adapt to this very tough environment. But I want you to know that the key to that adaptation is making sure that they have plenty of nourishment. And their primary source of nourishment is butyrate, which is a short chain fatty acid, which means it's a fat that we do not make and that you cannot eat, but it is a byproduct of the friendly bacteria. Now, it turns out that butyrate is a direct signaling molecule to your immune cells, and it tells your immune cells to relax and don't attack the body. So that's the reason that I started with, that your gut is the key element to reversing rheumatoid arthritis. Now that's what today's video is all about. That's all I really want to say. I am going to have a program on Skool, S-K-O-O-L, where we will go over a number of these concepts in terms of how to introduce the appropriate types of bacteria. We'll be talking about all kinds of wonderful ferments that you're going to want to include into your diet. We're going to talk about the diversity of fiber, and we'll have to talk about grains and beans and fruits and vegetables and how we actually schedule them into the diet. And then we'll talk about movements, because if you wake up in pain, you need to know that there are things that you can do to relieve the pain immediately and go back to sleep. So I look forward to talking with you tomorrow. I hope that this was interesting, and I appreciate your attention. Thank you so much. You want to help me with that? Okay. Did anybody comment?